is this the most injury plagued season we've ever had? And what is happening in the NFL nowadays? Because I feel like when you talk about the 90s and the 80s and football back then, there were injuries, but like you talk about the greatest players of all time, they really like didn't get hurt a lot. Like Christian McCaffrey was on pace to be one of the greatest players of all time. Like he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he kept up this pace. Todd Gurley, same thing. And they're just falling off. Like this never happened to Walter Payton. This never happened to Eric Dickerson. This never happened to Emmitt Smith. Like, what do you think is happening in the NFL nowadays that they just can't handle this?
I think we're living in an era where the running back position is you get your one guy, your one do-it-all guy, and you run that guy into the ground, like we saw with DeMarco Murray and these players, these running backs. You know, they're getting a high carry load, and they're just getting injured. You see with Christian McCaffrey, you see with Derrick Henry, you see with Dalvin Cook, all of these guys. And you're not seeing this with quarterbacks actually this season. Quarterbacks are staying relatively healthy, and that's more so because of the rule changes. I think if anything, you can't land on a quarterback with the Aaron Rodgers rule. You can't tackle him low with the Tom Brady rule, you know? So I think we're living in an era where we're trying to protect the star players, which are the quarterbacks pretty much. And the running backs are just left, you know, really in the dirt because they're the ones doing all the dirty work in between the tackles.
Yeah. Do you think they ever change the rules for the running backs to maybe keep them a little healthier?
I was just thinking about that actually. Yeah. What if they put like how pitchers have a pitch count kind of thing, you know, where you don't want to really have them throw too much? What if they did a snap count or like a touch count for running backs so that you have to have maybe another running back or two on your roster to be able to put in there if your guy hits that?
Here's the thing that I think Nick Chubb is going to have a very long NFL career because he has that kind of snap count, because he has Kareem Hunt right there with him. Yep. But the only thing, do you know who would fight against that? Everybody that plays fantasy football, because they want the Derrick Henry. Yeah. They want the guy that's getting 35 touches a game. But at the end of the day, these are human beings. This is their career. This is their livelihood. They want to be able to walk and play with their kids after they're done playing football. So like, if that's what it takes to, because all I want to see these players have the careers that they're supposed to have. I wanted to see Todd Gurley have the Hall of Fame career. I want to see Christian McCaffrey have the Hall of Fame career. And if it takes a snap count to do that, like they're still special players. If they're getting 20 touches a game, they're going to do special things with those 20 touches. Yeah. So I actually think that's a very good idea. I just think that, and I think some coaches are probably embracing that. Like you see coaches going with they want the two running backs. They want, mostly because of what Cleveland did.
Yeah. They want to keep their guys around for longer. They don't want to put their guy in a Christian McCaffrey type situation. And I think even from a fantasy standpoint, like, yes, there would be some pushback at first, but if they did something like that, it just makes you draft your bench smarter.
Yeah. And I think there would definitely be pushback from NFL teams, obviously, you know, the ones that are predicated on that one running back, you know, system, the Panthers.
There might even be pushback from running backs because they don't want to be limited, you know, they want to play, but at the same time, it's like your body is more important.
Well, yeah. You know, and then I guess you start to get into like the whole contract thing where, you know, because you're not using them as much, maybe they get much, you know, less money.
Yeah.
That's why they would be pissed off, because they wouldn't be getting as much money. But here's the thing. Do you want to get a bunch of money and then just not finish your career and be injured? Or do you want to you're still getting multi-millions of dollars, guys? Like, okay, like you're fine financially. If you have a financial advisor, you will be fine.
And if it allows you to have a longer career, you're still making good money. You're
exactly
just over a longer amount of time.
And I would argue. Yeah, and I would argue like they definitely want to have a longer career. Like you hear about these guys all the time. Like Bo Jackson talks about it, where he wishes he would have had a longer career, because Bo Jackson is actually a great example of this, because he tired himself the fuck out. Split. He was an all-star in 2 sports at the same time. By the way, that'll never be done again. That will never fucking be done again. That just wild. And the shit he was doing in baseball, just see him run up have you seen the highlight of him running on the wall to catch
or where he breaks the bat over his head?
Have you felt crazy an MLB bat?
And it's not even like a
twig
here. It's not even like he held it up here and then brought it down and snapped it. He held it on his head and just pulled down, and it snapped in half.
I think it's a while before we see anybody come close to him athletically. He was the greatest athlete of all time, and it's not even a question. Like it's not even a question.
I'm not against that 100%.
Yeah.